I'm just going to do a quick little review here of these. They're kind of adhesive little Velcro hook and loop dots, and Velcro of course is a brand, so these are not Velcro brand, these are just a generic hook and loop sticky, some people call it touch tape, I guess, dots. I have to say right off the bat, they are not the best quality, just because, as you can see here, within a couple seconds of me using them and testing them out, they do kind of fold over and they stick to themselves. They don't pull apart very well. I just tested it out on this shirt fabric that's on my table here, and they do, when I try to lift the product up, the little item that I am trying to attach to whatever I'm attaching it to, instead of the item and the topmost hook and loop part coming apart together as one, I end up having the item loose by itself and then these two pieces stuck together. But for the purpose of what I'm going to be using it for, I'm just going to be using it for a temporary usage during the holidays. This is just an example. This is not obviously a holiday themed item, but this is a little vintage salt and pepper shaker. I guess it's a raccoon or chipmunk. As you can see here, just as an example, I have young children, and we have obviously had a little accident with one of these pieces that we have. We have several different vintage, either it's a salt and pepper shaker, or we'll have a figurine or some cute little item. I like to collect little trinkets that are around the 50s, 60s, 70s era. And we have several of them that I purchased online, and a lot of people like to charge a lot more for them, and which is fine because they are getting harder to find. And when I have something, I cherish it, and with the children, they don't quite understand. I have children that are 7-year-old, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they don't quite understand that something, if it's broken, it can't always be replaced. And with vintage items, lots of times you'll only find one of that item and you won't find it again. And this is just a little, like a chipmunk, and its tail has been broken from it being knocked over onto the floor. And the way I'm going to be using these is I'm going to be securing, obviously not on a plate, but just to give you an example, and to show you kind of how these are not very good quality of adhesive on the backing. As you can see, when I lifted it up, it does come off. You can see that the little stopper's in there, little cork stopper. But I had actually covered this on here. My whole purpose for using this is for cutting it to size. What I would do is cut it to size, and then put it underneath whatever shape of the item that you want to secure it to. And as you see here, of course, I would make sure that I cut it so that that little piece does not show. But as you see, if you try to knock it, even though it's going to be able to lift off if someone pulls it off, it's not going to be as likely to knock over. And what we would be using it for is for like a top of a shelf or a top of the fireplace mantle. Around the Christmas holidays, we have little vintage angels or little vintage bears or gnomes or elves or little vintage 50s Santa Clauses that I like to collect. And if it gets broken, it's going to be hard to repair it. You can see that I did repair it. However, it's not going to be as perfect as it was before it got broken. And by using these little sticky things, and bear in mind that this is not as good quality. However, as you can see, when you do press it down, I'm really having to kind of touch it with some force before it comes off. So a lot of times it's not really the children picking it up and trying to break it. It's a lot of times they'll be running past or chasing each other, and they might knock something over. Well, this way, this does prevent it from flying off of the table in the kitchen or flying off of a shelf. This does help. So I would recommend getting some sort of dots like this, or if you can find larger ones that you can cut to the shape or the size that you need, and putting it under your figurines or any type of product or item that is going to either break easily or something that you don't want to knock off the shelf. So for this reason, this does serve its purpose. I don't think it's the best quality, just because, as you can see here, they do end up sticking to each other and then lifting off whatever it's sticking to if you kind of pull it off. For me, I've used Velcro, or I've used touch tape or hook and loop in the past, and it has been more sturdy than this product. This product is good for the price, and you get several different dots on here. I don't like the way it's stored in this roll, because even though it's kind of clever in the way that you kind of pull it out from the center, sort of like a, I guess, a kitchen trash bag roll. Sometimes when you get it in a box, you pull it out from the center. However, what happens is it ends up getting like this, and it gets kind of messy and difficult to put back. I would suggest having it on little sheets, or like little plastic sheets. Have these in like square, or on a actual thin piece of cardboard. I think that would work better. However, I realize it's probably saves on packaging or saves on cost for it to be done like this. This was sent to me for review. For my honest opinion, I was not paid for this review at all. I was just sent these complimentary. I didn't have to pay anything for them. I just wanted to provide my opinion on them. For what I'm going to be using them for, they work great. Like I said, it's not coming off like that. Of course, if I do pull it off, what happens is it does leave this here. The nice thing is, due to the fact that it does come off so easily, you're not going to worry about, if you do have a really expensive item. This wasn't expensive at all, but if you do have like a really expensive or high-end product, maybe if you use several of these under a high-end vase or something like that, it's not going to damage the bottom of this, and it's not going to damage the surface underneath. For me, I would say if you're going to use it on a larger vase, maybe you could probably use 4 on this side, and maybe 4 on this side, and maybe 3 on the inside. That would probably secure it well, as long as you're not like trying to lift it off. Like I said, I'm basically using it to prevent it from being knocked from someone running by, or throwing toys across the floor or across the room, which obviously happens when you have children. So this will prevent that. I do recommend it for something of that nature, of just securing something down temporarily. Like I said, I'm going to just be using it for the holidays when we have a lot of extra trinkets around. Normally, we don't have that many breakable items on a day-to-day basis, just because I've learned not to be able to have a lot of things where they can reach it, because they can get it broken. But for this holiday season, you know, for a month, 2 months or so of keeping things secured down, just pretend like this is a holiday figurine. I don't have it with me. They're all in our other rooms, but that's how I'm using it for this review. I just wanted to tell you what I use them for, and check them out. Thank you.